Get the fuck out of bed, bitches, because this is the Bitcoin pump. Look at that wick. Look at that green wick. And if you watch Bitcoin this weekend, you know that Bitcoin sent like a very clear sign to the bears and basically said, look, bears, for you, it's time to go hibernate because it's your winter that's coming up. But for the rest of us, it's about to get into a sunny, altcoin, amazing summer. And there are indicators that it looks like it's going to get a lot more aggressive. We're going to show you those indicators here today. There are a lot of indicators that show us that this market is about to explode. But is it going to be like a long explosion or is it going to be a short explosion? That's what we're going to be talking about. Also, you need to be asking yourself some big questions. Like, for example, am I holding enough altcoins? Do I have a plan to take those altcoins that I'm holding and move them back into Bitcoin sometime in the cycle? What is the plan? And am I holding the right altcoin? So we're going to be answering all those questions here today. It's going to be a big show. We're also going to be giving away a lot of money, a lot of money to give away to the Banter community. I can't wait. It's going to be such an amazing show. I'm so pumped. Really, I'm so pumped for the show. Let's do it. Let's start the show, guys. Welcome back, guys. I'm Crypto Man Run. I am here 2, 3, 4 times a day, here in our new studios, bringing you crypto love, crypto wisdom, building the best community in the world. So if you are new to our channel, welcome. Subscribe to our channel. In fact, I want to watch you guys subscribing to the channel because I saw you guys were FOMOing into the subscriptions earlier. I saw that. That is because you know that if you subscribe to this channel, this is the one place where you're going to get crypto love. You're going to make life-changing money. It really is the best place to be. Let me quickly get into the dashboard and watch the subscriptions going up and watch you guys FOMOing into subscriptions. So, they want me to check in. Okay. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so now that Google's let me into the dashboard, subscribe. Look at that, 396,666. We are so close to 400,000 family members. We do know that the family members that we got are the most loyal in crypto universe, in the entire crypto universe, actually by a factor of like 2.7 or something. So well done, guys. You are the most loyal family. We're going to look after our family. We did amazing giveaways, actually. Let's talk about some of the giveaways. We spoke about crypto blades. Crypto blades currently at 60 cents, so 20x if you did get those ICO giveaways. We also had another one today. We had Continuum also, what is it, 10x? It was 30x at one point. It's now at about 10x. So we do have Continuum for the family. I'm still going to give away crypto blades and Continuum. Even though they have launched, I'm still going to give you guys a whole lot of those. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, the hostage negotiation continues. This is what we're looking at with the terrorist negotiations. So now we've got runnoina.eth. Guy wants 2 ETH for it, man. I don't know why you're laughing. I mean, I have to actually pay this guy. I don't think I'm paying 2 ETH, but I mean, I'm going to have to pay him at some point. I know you think it's a joke, but it's really not a joke. Really, it's not a joke. Worries me that I have to negotiate with terrorists for my own domain. Well, it's not really my domain, but you know what I'm saying. It's just weird. Oh, I see we got some lights on. Maybe Jimmy will go and switch off the lights first. So, yeah, be careful. If you guys don't have your own domain, take a learning from this where the terrorists are holding my own domain and they're saying they want 2 ETH. Now, if I can either buy this back or I'm going to lose my domain forever, basically. I'm going to lose my domain forever. It's going to be tough. So my suggestion is there is let's steal Bitcoin's domains. That is smart. Salman, you get $400 worth of Star Launcher, guaranteed IDO allocation, providing you're not from the United States, because the United States people can't participate. Yeah, so that's that. A lot of you are complaining that you didn't get or you're not getting into IDOs and that it is unfair. Now, I've had this rant before, so I'm going to keep this rant really, really short. But the reason why you're not getting into IDOs is because you're not adding any value to the ecosystem. And you can't just sit back at home and just sit there and complain about the fact that you're not getting any IDOs because you're not doing anything. You need to be doing shit. You want to get into IDOs, you need to add value to ecosystems. And I know you're going to say, well, I don't have a YouTube channel and I don't know how to add value and therefore I can't add value. That's absolute garbage. This is the one place where you can get financial freedom. And if you're going to get financial freedom, it means that you actually have to work for it. You're not just going to sit back on the sofa and think that things are going to come to you. You want a great example? Let's go to my friend Flynn. Now I can close this garbage open to you. Let me show you. This is a 16-year-old guy who decided that he's going to research lunar projects because his school went virtual. Hold on, let's find him quickly. So his school went virtual. He's 16 years old, and he started writing a blog. And because he writes this blog, he also gets these allocations in pre-IDO projects. So you're telling me that you can't do it? Well, I don't understand how you're telling me that you can't do it, but yet a 16-year-old who's still at school can do it. And it's not like he's been in crypto for so long. It's just that he has the right mindset. So it's actually all about mindset. 9 months ago, I also didn't have a YouTube channel. 9 months ago, only 9 months, 270 days ago, I never had a YouTube channel. I had a YouTube channel, but I wasn't using it. In 9 months, we have managed to build one of the biggest, in fact, the biggest live crypto show in the world. The biggest live crypto show in the world is this crypto show. In 9 months, we managed to build this, and the most loyal crypto community in the world. That all happened in 9 months. So you're telling me that you can't do it? Come on, guys. Just change your mindset, get off the sofa. It's not going to fall into your lap. If you want these IDOs, either you're going to win them here at Crypto Banter, or you're going to actually have to work for them. You're going to have to do some work. It's not going to come for free. You're going to have to do some work for them. I'm just angling my camera there. I feel like, yeah, there we go. So it's not going to come easily. And don't make the excuse that you can't. Even if you can just write research reports, then just write research reports and send them to us. Put up that little job ad. We got a little job ad. Fred's so busy watching the show that he's actually not putting up anything. So yeah, if you want to write, if you think that you can add value, even if it's just by writing one-page of research reports, identifying narratives, then do that. That's all you have to do. That's just identify the narratives, make sure that you can send us a research report. And if we highlight your stuff, we will of course reward you, because that's what we do for people in our community. We like to share the wealth here. We like to share the wealth. We're not like governments, because governments don't share the wealth. They take your wealth. We're the opposite of government. We share the wealth. We make sure that everyone around us makes life-changing money. And that's why we want blockchain, and governments don't want blockchain. You know why governments don't want blockchain? Because despite the fact that governments keep telling you that they want transparency, they don't actually want transparency. They want non-transparency. Because when there is transparency, that's not good for governments. They tell you that they're protecting you and they want everything to be transparent. And that's why they don't want blockchain, because there's lots of money laundering. But actually blockchain makes sure that every single transaction is journalized, is in the ledger, and you can see it from now until the end of time. That's how a blockchain works. And governments don't want that. And it's no wonder that they don't want that, because I don't know if you guys saw this, but we had these what they called the Pandora's Papers, which is like the biggest hack not a hack, but it's a data leak ever. And what it does is it implicates more than 100 billionaires, 30 world leaders, and 300 public officials in shenanigans, basically. And there's a lot of shenanigans here, and a lot of people are actually named here. So like a lot of people actually named here. Tony Blair is named here. The guy from Russia, what's his name? Vladimir Putin. He's actually named here, although indirectly. And it's all about their shenanigans. Now, this is why governments don't want transparency, because when there is transparency, all their shenanigans are going to get caught out. And that's a big, big, big problem for them. They include the ruler of Jordan, King Abdullah, who leaked documents reveal amassed a secret $100 million property empire spanning from Malibu around the whole world. You got the Czech prime minister also implicated there. You got Tony Blair. I mean, I knew Tony Blair was on the take, but I always thought that he had a much hotter wife. I mean, what is that? Then you got the Ukrainian president. He has a nice suit. He bought that because, Ukrainian president who was elected in 2019, notoriously corrupt, transferred 25% of stake in an offshore company to a close friend who now works as a president's top advisor. Okay, then you got the African presidents. They're basically in a class of their own. So Uhuru Kenyatta portrayed himself as the enemy to corruption, but his family members got a whole lot of stuff. So lots of people actually implicated here. I think maybe we should have a moment's silence for Tony Blair. What do you think? I mean, that's worth a moment's silence. She must be a beautiful lady inside. Anyway, she is a great lady. She was a great leader's wife, second lady. What do you call it? Leader's wife, second lady. She's amazing like that. Okay. This wasn't supposed to come up. Okay, but if it's up, I'll show you. I wasn't supposed to show you this. Fuck, okay, now I have to show you. So there is a bit of an anomaly here. I was looking at Convex Finance. They have a market cap of $250 million, but they do have $9 billion or $8.5 billion in total value locked. To me, I think that looks like a little bit of an anomaly. When I look at, I mean, let's quickly go to, where do we go? We go to DApp Radar or DeFi Llama. Guys, remember, we're only going to do giveaways when we have 5,000 likes. So best you start hitting that like button. Yeah, hit that like button. Let's quickly look at that. Convex Finance, we have to look and see where is it in this whole thing. It's got 8-point-something billion total value locked. Okay, so I look at it and I say it's number 7 in terms of total value locked. And I compare the valuation of, say, for example, Compound. Compound has got $10 billion. And I mean, it's not exact science, but so this has got an $250 million market cap. Compound has you see, it has a market cap of 2 billion. That is why I started looking at Convex Finance. If I look at Lido Finance, or Lido is a very good token, very, very, very good ecosystem. Let's quickly look at it. Lido, which is actually smaller, has a market cap of 226. So I do think that Convex Finance may actually be undervalued, but I haven't done a deep dive. I was doing a deep dive. That's why this window was open. It should never, ever, ever have come up. It was an absolute mistake, which we have to talk about. Should never have come up. Because I know now you guys are gonna FOMO into it terribly. Oh yeah, that's Melton. So he speaks with the hands. Terrible. Okay, so that's that. What else? Before we get to the main story, remember, we need to get 5,000 likes before the giveaway start. I've got a lot of giveaways. I've got to give them away. I've got to give them away today or tomorrow because there's no show on Friday and there's no show on Monday, right? We discussed this, Fred. We said no show Friday, no show Monday because I'm going away. Unless Fred wants to do the show. We might do a double Sheldino show. Let's see if Sheldon, will you do a double show when I'm not here?
If the market's moving, yes.
Okay. Is the market moving now? Is the market moving now?
It's looking good. I'm glad Bitcoin finally broke this little 1 hour. So we had a little pullback last night, but this is good. This is what we want.
Are you trading on the 1 minute chart again?
30-second chart actually.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about that in a second. I'm going to put you back. How beautiful does Sheldon's background look?
Crypto banter for you.
Insane. That is insane. Okay, so let's look at what's going on the markets. And I think what we need to talk about in the markets is everybody is talking about a very, very, very positive, bullish Q4. I mean, everywhere you look, everyone's talking about this positive, bullish Q4. That narrative, of course, was started by our friend Plan B. Let me see if I can actually find his tweet. Let me find that tweet for you guys. Just close all this other garbage that I've got open here. It's not garbage. It's actually very important. Okay, so this is the Plan B tweet. This was the Plan B tweet that, you know, the one that everyone's talking about that happened on the 2nd of June. And on the 20th of June, when the market was at a low. And on the 20th of June, Plan B comes out and says, you know, Bitcoin's going to see 43,000 in September, 47 in August, 63 in October, 98, and then 135. And he started building this narrative of a parabolic bull run in Q3. Now, for those of you who haven't been here before, in 2013 and in 2017, we had exactly the same scenario. We had a parabolic bull run exactly in Q3 and Q4. I'll show it to you guys very quickly, but I don't want to spend too much time on it because I don't like to repeat things. I like to give you guys fresh knowledge every time. It's very hard if we have to keep repeating for the slow people in the class. Okay, so let me just clean this up. and I'm going to clean that up. And I just want to show you more or less what we're talking about. So if you go back to 2017, we have spoken about this about 1 trillion times, but for those people that are new to the class, what you can see is that the Q4, so what is the date today? Today is like October, right? October there?
October 4th.
So you see here, we've got October 4th. And if you look at what happened in 2017 from October 4th to December, it was very quick. We had this parabolic bull run. And then if you look at it, at what happened in 2013, take you all the way back to 2013, just so we can reminisce about the past. What you can see is that if we take today, which is the 14th of October, which is more or less over there, and then take the next couple of days, like 2 months exactly, it becomes parabolic. And so everyone's got this had this narrative that we were going to run parabolic. So I don't think that there's anything new with the narrative that Q4 is going to be an amazing Q4 for Bitcoin. Now, why do I keep talking about the narrative? Because narratives are actually what power markets. Remember I said to you that what is super, super, super important is the narrative. The minute we start talking about a narrative, then that is actually what becomes. So let me give you an example. In 2017, Bitcoin was actually supposed to be a peer-to-peer cash system. And they were having arguments about the block size and how they can adjust the block size to make it a peer-to-peer cash system. But then we realized that actually Bitcoin is never going to be a peer-to-peer cash system. It's not going to be a peer-to-peer cash system. And so what we did is we came up with a narrative that Bitcoin is digital gold. And it took us 3 years, and luckily we had this COVID scare, where people said, hold on a second, we actually want a digital gold. And so that was how this whole digital gold narrative came to life. So if you want to create something, the first thing you need to do is to create the narrative. You need to get people drumming the same narrative, boom, boom, boom. And then eventually the narrative becomes the reality. You understand that? The narrative becomes the reality. So right now, there are two narratives going on. There's three narratives going on. The first narrative, which everybody agrees on, is that there's going to be an amazing Q4 for Bitcoin. No matter where you look, no matter if it's Vinnie Lingham. I think I had a tweet from Vinnie Lingham. Let's have a look at it. So let's have a look here. I know I had this tweet. So, okay, Vinnie Lingham, he says, welcome to Q4 2021. I expect Bitcoin to reach new all-time high, followed by very high other quality cryptos. So basically, the narrative is that we're getting into a big, aggressive Q4. Now, don't discount the power of us talking the narrative up. And I'll give an example of what I mean. If a lot of people are saying that Bitcoin should get to 100,000 to 135,000, and that becomes the consensus from smart money. Smart money says that the narrative creates this narrative that Bitcoin should get to $100,000. Then what happens is when we get to $60,000, it all of a sudden feels cheap because the narrative is that Bitcoin should get to $100,000. I don't have Tourette's. My neck is just stuck. I've got a cable here and it keeps pulling my thing. It's not my Tourette's. So the narrative is that we are going towards $100,000. One narrative is that we're getting a bull run in Q4, and no one can disagree with that. Another narrative is that we're kind of heading towards $100,000 in Q4. And again, this is a narrative that smart money is driving. So you take Meltem Demirors.
Welcome back to Fast Money. A wild quarter for Bitcoin, a cryptocurrency surging 26% over the past 3 months, but the quarter ended with a thump. Bitcoin prices tumbling over the last 4 weeks. Despite the coin's disappointing performance, our next guest says Bitcoin is a screaming buy, sees it hitting $100,000 by year end. Meltem Demirors is the Chief Strategy Officer for CoinShares, co-chair of the World Economic Forum's Cryptocurrency Council. Meltem, it's always great to see you. How do we get to 100K
it's great to
by
be
year
here.
end?
I'm your resident Bitcoin bull.
How do we get to 100K by year end? What's the backdrop?
Yeah, let's just look at the landscape. As I always like to say, you got to bring the receipts. So here are the receipts. If we look at what's happened over the last 6 months since Bitcoin hit its previous high of around 65,000, we saw a lot of risk coming off the table. There was a lot of leverage in the system that got flushed out. Right now, we're hearing rumblings around a potential Bitcoin ETF approval. That would be a cash-settled contract-based ETF, but still there's a lot of buy the rumors, sell the news behavior in crypto. That's a big catalyst we're looking at in Q4. There's also not a lot of open longs in the Bitcoin position anymore. So we're seeing a lot more firms taking on more bullish long calls. In fact, there are a number of 6-figure long dated option calls that are seeing some action going into the end of Q4 and early Q1. And I think most importantly, honestly, is there's a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines, and a lot of investors are now seriously contemplating an allocation to Bitcoin in their portfolios. And there are now so many different avenues through which to do that, whether it's through a publicly listed investment vehicle or through assets themselves on platforms like Coinbase or Robinhood or Square. There's just an absolute plethora of options that are opening up the channel for retail and professional investors to get exposure to the asset class.
Okay, so that's Melton Demers, and that's, again, she's creating a narrative, and she's backing up her narrative of calling for Bitcoin for $100,000. She's backing that up with a whole of data and information, what she calls it, bring the receipts. She's right, bring the receipts. You've got to be able to talk about it. So the other thing that we're seeing is that other big influencers, basically everywhere you go, the consensus is that $100,000 by the end of the year is reasonable. So we're all set that Q4 is going to be good, and that $100,000 is probably a great narrative. The next question is, what kind of bull run are we going to have? So initially, there was a narrative created that the bull run was actually going to be short and very, very, very parabolic and very, very, very violent, like 2017. So again, looking at 2017, we are about here in 2017. And then there's this option to go parabolic, and the same thing happened in 2013. That was originally the narrative. But today there's a new narrative being beaten. There's a new narrative that everyone's talking about. And that narrative is a narrative for a much, much, much longer, more sustained bull market. So it looks something like this. So you got Willy Woo, who says, the last cycle, what will this bull cycle top? In my opinion, there is no top. Past predictable walk of supply and demand governed by simple 4-year halving. Now, unpredictable walk of demand and supply from a complex ecosystem until we hit saturation. And what he's saying is he's not seeing a blow off top. He's just saying that the bull market is going to just continue and continue and continue. And then you get people like Plan B, who also said that he's thinking, let me find you that tweet. He said that he was thinking that we're now in the second leg of the bull market, and we'll have 6 months more to go. So again, calling for a very different type of bull market. One bull market says that one theory says, or one narrative says, that we're going into an insane bull run, and the other one says we're going into an insane bull run, but it's not going to be quick. If we don't get a quick bull run, there's good news and bad news. The good news is that we get a prolonged bull run, and it means you've got a lot more time to make money. The bad news is that it's not going to be as violent, and that we're not going to get these kind of parabolic moves, because you can't have that for 6 months. If you have that for 6 months, effectively, we meet on the moon, basically. We just meet on the moon. Me and you just meet at the moon, have coffee on the moon, come back. So that is why you can't, there's good and bad. Longer bull run equals good. Longer bull run equals good. I prefer shorter bull run because we degens. And shorter bull run means more aggressive bull run with a blow off top. But now the new narrative is that we're going to get to 100,000 on Bitcoin, but it's not going to be very, very fast. Then Raoul Paul says, I'm finding it very hard not to get extremely bullish about the next few months. Almost every crypto chart looks coiled and ready for the next big moves after months of consolidation. Here are the two charts that matter for him the most. He looks at total market cap. Now he says that right now total market cap is actually 2 standard deviations below where it should be. So it's too low relative to what it should be. And he says that looks to me like it can go up again, 3x and then 6x into next year. So again, now he's also got this narrative of the bull run extending into next year, which would be quite interesting because we've never had a bull run that extended into the following year, except for that 1 year where we had it. We thought it was all good. And then on the 18th of January, we saw a crash. Never forget that crash for as long as I live. I was on a plane. I was trying to trade on the Emirates plane, but the Wi-Fi was so slow, and I just watched all my money disappear. And then when I got off the plane, I felt like I had been raped. That's how bad it was. It was terrible. It was absolutely, absolutely terrible. So Raoul Paul is looking at those charts, And he's looking at another technical chart. And he also says in this technical chart, he said, the outright chart of market cap is ludicrously bullish once it crossed $900 million in market cap, wave 3, and there's a massive cup and handle. And I'm not a technical guy. Sheldon's a technical guy. But you can see that there is actually a massive cup and handle here. You see? Cup, handle. It's quite obvious. I mean, I'm not a technical guy. Even I can see it. Then we get this dude, never heard of him before until today. Fred introduced me to him. His name is TechDev. He says something interesting. He says each cycle has had 2 peaks on the RSI. So the RSI is the stochastic, it's the sentiment indicator. And he says, look, in 2013, we had 2 RSI peaks. In 2017, we had 2 RSI peaks. It means that sentiment went up, came down for a crash, went up again, right? And what he's saying is that in 2021, we've only had 1 of those peaks, and we're kind of waiting for the second peak now, and that correlates with like a very long bull market, which is amazing. So again, new narrative. Narrative is that there's going to be a long bull market. I was hoping it was going to be much shorter, but I mean, so what? Doesn't matter what I was hoping. It just matters what they were hoping, because they're the experts. I'm just the guy that does a YouTube show every now and then. I don't know anything. I just read the scripts that Fred gives me. Yeah, I saw that. So that is what the narratives are looking like. And remember, the reason why I'm so excited about the narrative is because the narrative creates the reality. We created the narrative that Bitcoin was digital gold, and now Bitcoin is a digital gold. The narrative now is that there's going to be an explosive Q4, and that Bitcoin will go over $100,000. And that is slowly becoming the reality. The more we talk about it, the more we can use the receipts to back it up, the better it becomes. So that is another indicator that shows us that. Then Sheldino, the sniper, also has 3 indicators that also point to a very, very, very bullish Q4. And I must say, like, I hate feeding you guys bullish information, only bullish information, because I think we should be a little bit more balanced. But I'm looking for the bad news. And the only bad news is the stock market. And even that is like, I mean, I saw it earlier today and it was like 1% down, garbage. Okay, nothing happening on the stock market. So Sheldino, what are your indicators?
Totals. So, you know, instead of now zooming out to sort of see, or zooming in to see what exactly is pumping, I sort of went through today and just went through all the total market caps with Bitcoin, without Bitcoin, with Ethereum, without Ethereum, and just having a look. And what's really good about the market at the moment is everything's finally working together. Sorry, let me just turn this off. There we go. Everything is finally working together. You know, the last 2-3 months, we had NFTs run, we had DeFi run, everything's sort of running separate. And what I love about this, if we look at the total market cap, we finally got this big cup and handle. Cup, handle, and how we usually have a break of a handle is when we downwards wedge and we start breaking out. And this usually informs the handle, and now to start obviously to the next sort of peak to the upward side. And looking at that to the total 2, we're in the exact same place as total 1. And looking at the total
2,
3,
just so you know, for those of you who don't know, it's the total market cap excluding Bitcoin. So it's just the altcoins effectively. And so what he's saying is Bitcoin is doing it, the whole market's doing it, and the market cap excluding Bitcoin is also doing it.
Excluding Bitcoin, and this is obviously including Ethereum, and then you got the total 3, which is excluding Ethereum. So right now what it's showing us is everything is basically showing the same sort of pattern. Everything is working together, which is good. We actually want the whole market to sort of move in that way. And when I looked at previous data, the last time where everything was working together was all the way back 2020. Okay, and well, basically from 2019 2020 was this part over here. And this is when we had the eruption of the whole market, everything absolutely erupting. So if we look at that, and I'll show you to the total over there, you see this at the bottom over here where we had a beautiful cup and handle. There was the cup. We got to that point. We then came down, and you can see how I've made the circle over here. And this is where I'm seeing us now, more or less, where everything is finally starting to get to the point where it all erupts together. You know, we keep waiting. Is Bitcoin going to erupt? And then the alt's going to catch up. You know, how about a whole market moving at one sort of time? And we're at that point where this was the last time we saw the charts all doing exactly the same thing. And this is currently where we're sitting right now, with everything is showing us the same moves at where we were sitting at the previous time with this over here. So it's good to see the whole market working together. Doesn't it suck when we have to rely on Bitcoin or rely on specific coins to hold the market up, where now we finally have the strength from the whole market, and it looks like the whole market is looking to work together and finally get through the all-time highs and get the market moving again.
Great. Sheldon, I want to look at one more thing, and I want to see that US dollar dominance, because that's actually, these are cups and handles, and then the confirmation is that the US dollar dominance, USDT dominance, is also in a flip cup and handle.
Exactly. So for the markets to pump and for us to have a good, so we need this to be going down. What does it mean? It means people are exiting the dollar. They're exiting the dollar and they're going into the coins. And as you can see here, we are doing the upside down version of what we just showed. And this usually includes a very big move to the downward side. So this is big, especially on the daily. And we obviously have all three market caps showing us the upward side. So TA is looking fantastic.
TA is looking fantastic. Plan B also says, I read this today, I think it's fantastic. He says, the Bitcoin RSI is 66. In other markets, the RSI goes between 30 and 70, but with Bitcoin, it's different. The RSI ranges between 45 and 100. So what's next, the green bottom or the green top? What you can see is that the Bitcoin RSI, the sentiment indicator, is usually much, much, much more aggressive. And right now it's on about a 60. The top is about 100 and the bottom is around a 45. So we're much lower to the bottom of the cycle than we are at the top of the cycle, which is another indicator that shows that we actually might be really, really, really getting up there. Hey?
Yeah, definitely. I saw there's a bunch of comments there saying Bitcoin just up. Guys, jump off for the 5 minutes. Just remember to zoom out. There's no point sitting on the 5 minutes saying we're dumping. Guys, look at the total market cap here. If I can just show you 2 secs, right? The market cap over here, and all three are totals that I just showed you guys now. We have the breakouts and we always have a test. And then the continuation. So this little pullback in the whole market,
yeah, it's neither here nor there. Okay, let's look at some other explosions. I don't know if you guys have looked at some other explosions, but the one thing that did explode was Axie. Axie has gone absolutely parabolic. I got this information on Axie, which I thought was unbelievable. According to Masari, Axie Infinity's total revenue in the third quarter was $781 million in 1 quarter, a 48x increase from the total revenue of 15.9 in the second quarter. However, the token showed a downward trend. If you look at what that means, the only protocol that is generating more revenue than Axie is actually Ethereum. And so what we think is, look, Axie is fully valued. Axie is fully valued. But there may be an opportunity to get into the SPS, the smooth love potion. So Sheldon, let's look at that SPS chart, the smooth love potion chart. Not SPS, SLP.
Really good SLP, yeah. So if I show you here, so there we go. You know, it's been on a downtrend now for the last 2-3 months. So this is investment-wise, it looks like a really great investment.
Remember, smooth love potion is what you win in the Axie game, and smooth love potion is what you need if you want the Axies to breed. You need to sprinkle smooth love potion over them. So right now, I did have that breakout. I was looking at it from a fundamentals point of view, and from a fundamentals point of view, smooth love Axie looks fully valued because it has had a huge run. Sheldon, maybe just call up the Axie chart just so we can show the guys how it ran.
Yeah, Axie is absolutely insane. Let's just bring it up here. There we go. So guys, yeah, so that's the main token, and SLP is basically used as the gas, right? Or it's the gas sort of token, very similar to...
It's kind of the gas. It's kind of the gas. I mean, it's not exactly the gas, but I mean, effectively you win it when you play the game, and then you use it to breed Axies. You need to have smooth love potion to breed the Axies. So that's how
Axie is obviously pumped, and we've had this huge push from that, but then you go look at SLP, and you know, that looks like a way better buy. So that looks good.
Sheldon, did you buy SLP for my portfolio?
Not as much as I wanted to, but I did buy a good amount.
Okay, amazing. All right, Sheldino, thank you, brother. We'll chat to you in a bit.
Cool, buddy. Ciao.
Alrighty, so those are the indicators, all kind of saying the same thing. And remember, it's actually all about a narrative, because a narrative is what drives the reality. You keep talking about something, and eventually that becomes the narrative, and enough people talk about it, and we get one unified, single-minded narrative, all talking about the same thing, and then it happens. The same thing happened on Luna. I mean, we've been talking about Luna and Columbus 5. We said that Luna would explode after Columbus 5. Luna is now hitting new highs. Not only, I'm going to show you that, let's look at Luna in terms of market cap, in terms of price, but it's not actually only about price. I want to show you that. So again, Luna exploded after Columbus 5. This is more or less where the Columbus 5 upgrade happened, somewhere here. Actually, it happened here. That's where Columbus 5 happened. Went to new highs today, 48.60, huge. And it's not only about the narrative and the price. It's actually, if you look at a comparison of the protocols that have a high value locked, a high total value locked, you see Luna's got a market cap of 17 billion, total value locked of 9 billion, and a market cap to total value locked of 1.89, which seems undervalued when you look at it relative to other protocols. It's not that simple though, because if you look at other protocols like Ethereum and Solana, there's a lot of NFT activity there. And this is only measuring the DeFi activity. So it's not a linear thing, but it is something that we should look at. We always look at the total value locked relative to market cap to see how much traction a protocol is getting. So again, Luna, the narrative is still there. We still believe that Luna is going to do massive price performance in the next couple of weeks or in Q4. The other one that we're looking at is, of course, Avalanche. We've been talking about Avalanche for a long time. You can see that Avalanche is gaining in terms of total value locked. They've now got $4 billion of total value locked. And we've said to you guys that we think that Avalanche is one of those sleepers. It's one of those ones that has just started running. And because Avalanche has just started running, we thought, who better to get onto our show than the founder of Avalanche, or one of the founders of Avalanche, who can tell us exactly what he thinks about the market. He can tell us exactly why he created Avalanche. He can tell us exactly how it works and what's going on the protocol. So what I did do is I got my friend Emin to join us. Emin, welcome, my friend.
Hi, Ryan. How are you doing?
Long time, man. I think the last time I interviewed you was at the university.
Yeah, that was maybe a year ago or so, a year and a half ago. Yeah, I remember chatting with you back when I was a director of IC3, the Cryptocurrency Institute. So now I talk to you as the CEO of Ava Labs, having started a brand new network. It's been in existence for only about a year. And as you said, it's been such a fun ride for that last year.
So before I talk about Avalanche, I want to talk about the market. You've been around for a long time. You've seen 2013, you saw 2017. It kind of feels like we're in a simulation, and it looks exactly the same. Do you think we're going to have a banger of a bull market or a much longer, much more extended bull market?
That's a great question. What kind of bull market are we going to have? I like the way you phrase it. There is no universe where we don't have a bull market. Well, look, Ran, I'm not a technical analyst, right? And I'm not even a trader, and I'm a scientist. But I do have one unique vantage point that allowed me to call exactly what was going to happen. And just for the people who you don't know me, about a year and a half ago, I called this. I called I called last year's bull market exactly a year ago. I said, starting in August, we're going to start to see a huge run up. And the reason why I was able to do that is because of my position. People come to me and say, hey, we're about to invest into crypto. And what are the risks? What should we be thinking about? How should we be structuring this, et cetera, et cetera? So I knew that the hedge funds were coming. In April of 19, I knew that the hedge funds were coming. April of 2020, if I'm not mistaken. I might be getting the year wrong, but you know what I mean.
Yes. So
I called it 6 or 7 months before it happened. And it happened exactly as I said. I said Bitcoin is going to go to 40 to 60K. It was fairly low at the time. Everyone was like, what the heck? All of these people that you see proselytizing about Bitcoin, proselytizing about crypto, back then they were not investing in crypto. They were not believers in their own narratives. But I was there and I was like, I can see the future a little bit and I think it's coming. So I called it then. And I'll call it again. And it's based on a different vantage point, a slightly different point of visibility. I have had, again, back in February of this year, people come to me and ask about investing some of their net accounts under management into crypto. But these people are not your hedge funds anymore. The hedge funds have figured the game out. They're coming in droves, etc. These are retirement funds. So they take a while to come in. And when they come in with much larger pots. We're not talking about small numbers of millions in the double-digit range. We're not even talking about small numbers of millions in the triple-digit range. For them, a small amount is in the billions range. So I'm super, super excited. And but then the question that you ask, so how is this going to happen? Are we going to see a huge, fast bull run? Let me make some predictions on that front as well. It's going to be a slow, steady climb up for Bitcoin. Why? Because that's typically the entry point for people new to the space. And these retirement funds, as they come in, they put their chits where they've heard the most noise, etc. And they start with Bitcoin. And they quickly realize that there's great depth to this area. And the money flows from Bitcoin to other coins. But because of the amount of, what shall we say, the established base of Bitcoin, it takes a lot more to move that price than it takes to move anything else. So I think what we're going to see is slow and steady in the main established coins, and much more exaggerated motions in the up and coming coins. It's going to be a wild ride until March, April of this year, I think, and then we can maybe May and June. But we should talk again in May and look back and see what happened with this prediction.
We should talk again way before that. Now, speaking of predictions, you must have had a thesis around smart contract networks when you came up with Avalanche.
Absolutely.
Or when you decided that you were going to raise funding to do Avalanche. What was your thesis then on smart contracts? What were you solving on the smart contract platform play?
Absolutely. The thesis is very simple behind Avalanche. We believe that the world needs a way to digitize every single asset. We are not out there competing with the dollar. We're not out there competing with gold, etc. That's Bitcoin's game. They should play it. They're playing it as well as one can, and power to that. But Avalanche is trying to do something else. It's trying to take the 72 trillion of assets that are currently not in digital form and get those into digital form. Now, there's a big blocker. You can't just do this willy-nilly on any system. You got to have a couple of things going for you. One, you have to be decentralized, or otherwise you just get hot flashes of money come in and go out. The whole value proposition in this game is you're either decentralized or you're a joke. You're just something that people make fun of. And the second thing is that you got to have scale. You can't go out and go tackle the real large markets unless you have the scale and capacity to handle them. And you got to have quick finality so that the users have a great experience. And it was impossible to get all of those things together until we had a breakthrough in the underlying protocol science. And the thing behind Avalanche is what I think, in my area of expertise in distributed systems, is the biggest breakthrough since the Satoshi white paper. And that's a brand new consensus protocol, works very differently from everybody else's. Everyone else is copying each other. And they're actually copying each other's vision too. They're like, oh, I'm going to do smart contracts exactly like EVM. Okay, well, that's great. Well, that's only a subset of what we do in Avalanche. So we've got a much broader vision. We're bringing new value into the system. And the key enabler for this is the super fast, super high capacity new consensus protocol called Avalanche.
How does the consensus protocol actually work?
Whoa. How much time we got? You're asking it.
I know it works around gossip, right? I mean, it works around the nodes gossiping to one another.
It does. It's very, very similar to gossip protocols. And you're asking a professor a technical question. I'll make it very, very brief. And in 1 minute, in Bitcoin, you have the notion of mining and hardware mining rigs. And a miner finds a block and then contributes something to the blockchain, a block to the blockchain, and then the process proceeds from there. In other proof of stake systems, you typically have all-to-all communication, and you have a signing mechanism. Somebody proposes a block. I say, I like your block. Fred says he likes your block, etc. If you get enough signatures on your block, it's kind of like a law passing through a parliament. But because everybody has to communicate with everybody else, these systems don't scale. The best of those protocols is not Solana, by the way. The fastest is actually a protocol called Hot Stuff. It's used by Facebook's Diem. It used to be Libra. And it was invented by my student and other colleagues of his. So he worked on that protocol, then came and said, hey, I want to work on Avalanche. I want to work on something truly innovative. Avalanche works differently. It works on a mechanism known as metastability, and it doesn't involve all-to-all communication or all-to-all message passing. What it does do is you sample. It's repeated subsampled voting. So you sample the network, you sample the network, you sample the network, and the magic behind this math shows that in a very small number of rounds, the network achieves consensus. So that's my short summary.
You have very quick, very fast consensus. You have very quick, very fast finality. I know that TPS is a garbage metric, but I mean, how does the speed compare to, say, for example, Solana? I mean, Ethereum is out of the race. I think they got 15 transactions per second, if I'm not mistaken. How does the speed and time to finality compare with other protocols?
Absolutely. Great question. So Ethereum's out of this race. They're getting about 15 TPS, and they're getting about 15 seconds of latency. And the thing about many other TPS numbers is people inflate them. If you look at Solana, they're counting the number of messages the protocol passes internally as if they're genuine transactions. Those are not genuine transactions. The actual numbers that they should be posting is about 1/10 of what they put out there. So the numbers when they come to us is we are the fastest system in terms of time to finality. Our current time to finality is around 770 milliseconds. So that's like 2 slow blinks of an eye. And that's an amazingly fast response time. So this comparable number for Solana is on the order of 4 to 10 seconds. So we're far faster than them. It makes a huge difference when you're interacting with a DEX. And similarly, when it comes to TPS numbers, we're getting 4,500 TPS, and that's about 3 times as fast as Visa.
Okay, so you raised some money earlier this year. You had an ambition. I heard you on a podcast, not our podcast, but I heard you on a cast before, which said that your ambition is to survive the next bear market. I think that's what you said, right?
I don't think I ever said that. That's never a doubt in my mind. Did I say that?
So, I mean, I read this, that you guys raised 230 million, and I read from the biggest names out there, Polychain, 3 Arrows Capital. I think Andreesen was also an investor at some stage along the way. Is this funding to build the protocol, or is this funding to build the ecosystem?
Oh, it's both, but it's primarily the latter. So our goal here is not to survive a bear market. Our goal is to take over the world, is to become the premier platform on which people issue their assets. And to that end, we want to create an environment where people go to as their first choice when it's time to issue something, because they know it's got the best technology, the fastest experience, the most seamless user experience overall. So to that end, we raised 230. It's going to be spent mostly on various different incentive programs. And prior to this raise, also, we announced a fairly sizable DeFi incentive program for DeFi protocols. And we're very excited about Aave, Curve, and others coming on board with the Avalanche Rush incentive program.
Yeah, the Avalanche Rush was, like, I would say, the catapult for DeFi on Avalanche. The rewards were insane. It got a lot of people on board. And I think that really is what got Avalanche to explode. And I think the price of Avalanche responded incredibly to that. Before we talk about the ecosystem, the design of Avalanche is actually 3 chains, right? So you kind of have three chains operating at the same time, if I understand it correctly. One of them is the one that mints assets. I think that's the X chain. Then you got the smart contract chain, which is the C chain. And then you got the platform chain, which is the P chain. So do I understand this correctly, that you've got 3 chains continually working in unity?
Absolutely. That's exactly right. And it's part of our vision for how we plan to scale and deal with the demands of a multitude of different people wanting to issue assets. So Avalanche is not a single coin, single VM, single network kind of a system, or single chain kind of a system. You can have as many chains as you like. The 3 main chains are exactly as you summarized, but there could be any other number. And in fact, if there is an enterprise that wants to do their own issuance for their own token, they can do it as an additional chain. If that enterprise is bound by the rules of a country, the laws of a country, they can create a compliant chain that's separate from the default one. If there is somebody out there who wants to issue a super fast chain, they can do that as well.
So what, that would be a separate platform chain, or that would be a separate, like, they can run?
No, it would be suppose somebody wants to do some IoT devices. There would be an IoT chain. And okay. Suppose somebody wants to do NFT-based chain. They could have just their own purely NFT-based chain. They would be shielded from the DeFi activities on our platform.
Got it. Let's look at the Avalanche ecosystem, because we have been following the Avalanche ecosystem. We've been following things like Joe. We've been following things like Pangolin. How many of these projects were actually funded or made by the protocol?
By the team behind the protocol?
Yeah.
Just about none of them, right? So Joe is a completely independent operation. Pangolin was the code is something that we worked on. That's true, but it's entirely owned by the community. So in keeping with the Avalanche ethos, we believe in giving back to our community. We believe in just issuing these things and having community-owned things. We're very egalitarian. We believe that these chains should work for people. And so Pangolin is completely community-owned. It has its own dev team now, has nothing to do with us or me. Let's see, and then we can go through the whole list. I believe almost.
Well, are there any here that stick out for you that you actually really like as one of the founders of the protocol? Just interested. I mean, I know there's a lot of good things being built on the project, but maybe just educate our community on the stuff that you like that's being built on the protocol.
I try not to play favorites. I am loving the competition between Joe and Pangolin. That has made Pangolin team go much faster. Joe is doing amazing things as well, very innovative things. I love them both. And we have other new DEXs coming on board that are going to be amazing. They will show people how certain things ought to be done on blockchains. I'm really excited about DEX-a-lot coming on board. There are lending platforms like Benki on there. There's Aave coming on board. There is, I don't need to say anything about Aave. There is Bilira, which is a stable coin. There's Trust Swap. I mean, we can just go on and on. These are fantastic protocols, all of them. And let the community decide. Let people walk to whichever contract suits their needs best.
Amazing. Emin, thank you, my friend. Been amazing having you on the show. Guys, give Emin some love. We'll see you again soon, my friend.
Great. Nice to talk to you, Ran. Bye-bye.
Cool. Wow, what an amazing smart guy. Very, very, very smart guy. I should have been a professor. I would have been much smarter. Instead, I get to sit here with Fred and all the other guys. I should have rather just gone to be yeah, Fred. Alrighty, guys. So let's do some giveaways. I know we got to do some giveaways. Okay, quickly. ByBit. We are speaking to them. We have got a first airdrop for anyone who was invested and still is invested. We've got an airdrop for you. We're not happy with the quantum of the airdrop. We want a higher airdrop for each one of the Banter fam. So stay in there. Stay in there. Don't withdraw your cash. We'll tell you when the snapshot is in. If you don't have an account, subscribe with an account. You'll get a guaranteed airdrop. I'm negotiating it because for some people missed the join now button. So that's the first thing. NordVPN. Yes, I was told that I have to remind you guys about this. So remember that we spoke about how you want to remain anonymous to the receiver of revenue in your country. To if you're in America, you never want them to know you're in America because then you can't get into IDOs and you can't get into certain pre-sales, yeah. And where else do you want to use a VPN? We don't want to get hacked. Then you use a VPN. It makes it much harder for the hackers to penetrate. It's almost like wearing a chastity belt. So they can't get in. They try to get in. They can't get in. That's how the hackers are. So you need to get a VPN for that. We use a VPN. That way, when we get into pre-sales, no one knows where we're coming from. When we go through exchanges, no one knows which country we're in. I just prefer to keep my identity. You know, Fred, every Monday you get this terrible cold. It's a Monday thing.
That's changing of the seasons, my friend.
It's the changing of the seasons.
I know, it gets me every spring, man.
Every spring. But last Monday wasn't spring, bro. And the Monday before also wasn't spring. I find that every Monday Fred has this cold. It's mysterious, but every Monday Fred has a cold. Anyway, so I did recommend to you guys. I'm recommending it to you guys again. I use it. I'm not shilling your product. I don't give a shit if you buy it or don't buy it. But this is an amazing product. It's also fucking cheap. Ridiculously cheap. Okay, it is $3.18 per gram. I mean, sorry, per month. I don't know what I'm thinking. It's $3.18 per month. Okay, that's like a no-brainer. And then no one knows where the hell you're coming from, and it's much harder for hackers to trade this. If I were to create a toolkit for like a person starting crypto, in my toolkit is a VPN, because no one is supposed to. These people. No one is supposed to know where you are in crypto. That's the biggest mistake, is to give away where you're at. especially for exchanges and stuff like that, when they have to report shit about when you do your transaction. I see I got 5,000 likes. Fred just told me, wiping his nose. So bottom line, I recommend that you get yourself a VPN. There is a link in the description below. If you want to get one, get one. If you don't want to get one, also don't get one. That's fine. Just then you may as well just publish your address on the internet. Just say, hey guys, and if you're Chinese, then you should definitely get one because then you can still play in crypto. If you're American and you want to get into IDOs and if you want to get into any real exchange, then I would definitely get a VPN. And I can't say that. Can we cut it out? Cut it out after. Okay, cool. They said I mustn't say things about Americans. It could be seen as like espionage or something. I don't know, some weird shit. Okay, they could take me to jail for that. Okay, so if you're in America, definitely don't use a VPN. It's the worst decision that you can make is to use a VPN in America because anyway, the Americans know where you are. So be careful. Okay, 5,000 likes. We have 5,000 likes. Okay, let's give away the following. I want to give away 4 continuums. 4 continuums now worth, they're like worth like 20x, right? No, they're like worth 15, 5x, I don't know, whatever it is. So if I give you $100, you've actually won yourself like $1,000. So then you got to say a big thank you to Uncle Ran. So I've got like 3 minutes left. Okay, guys, quickly pull up the comments. Luca, who we make his day every single day. Luca, gets yourself $100 of continuum. Okay, Joy Div says eruption. He gets himself $100 of continuum at pre-IDO prices. So now it's worth like $500. Adam Hafda, he gets $100 of continuum and $100 of crypto blades. He gets both. So he's actually very rich now. Fred, the producer, gets himself $100 of continuum because he needs the money for the weekend for weekend spending. No, you give back your money now. You give back your money. We're going to give it away to the community. Okay, I've got to give away Star Launcher, guys, because the idea, we have 10,000 likes. Gee, so we have to give away Star Launcher. We have to do Star Launcher. We have to do Star Launcher because the IDO is on Friday, guys. Wake up, IDO on Friday. I have to give away 45 of these things. It's going to do 100x. That means I'm going to give away $500,000. Who wants? Gonzalo Nunez. I like the guy. You get $400 guaranteed in the Star Launcher IDO. That's amazing. And remember that if you're in America, then just get a NordVPN. No, I can't say that. Don't get a NordVPN. If you're in America, don't get a NordVPN because anyway, it's bad. It's bad to get a VPN because then in America, don't get a VPN. All the other countries, including China, get yourself a VPN. Link in the below. Description below. Okay, quickly, guys, come on. Nathan Burkett gets $400 guaranteed allocation in Star Launcher, providing you're not in America. And if you are in America, but you have a VPN and you can say that you're not in America, then you actually might not be in America. You choose them because they're hot. Okay, Candace, you also get yourself, Candy Norton also gets yourself $400 guaranteed allocation. And you know who else gets $400 guaranteed allocation? Jimmy gets $400 guaranteed allocation. Jimmy gets a $400 guaranteed allocation. Jimmy gets it. He got it. You know who else gets a $400 guaranteed allocation? Quickly before my time is up, Dennis. Dennis gets a $400 guaranteed allocation. And Teddy gets, Dennis from CoinPanel, and Teddy, who says I'm also hot. He's hot. He gets $400 guaranteed allocation. I got to go because my time is up. I love you guys madly. If you are trading, trade well, my friends. Otherwise, follow me on Twitter. I may give away some more Star Launcher IDOs. My time is absolutely up. So let's go. My time is up, guys. Other slide. There we go. 5, 4,